I wouldn't call it a re-debut, but trying to sort of get back up there in terms of his form.
Yeah. Again, he's just kind of made his
And
return. We were talking about it last week, where like he's kind of just been like in this hyperbolic time chamber, right? Just like training off screen, making sure that when he does play in these events, that he's able to, show good games. To put it in a Korean way, for the fans.
For good game gaming.
There you go.
Had to remind you. And speaking of reminders, a reminder to viewers back at home, as we will be having a best of 5 semifinals here, ZVP, and we are going to be starting things off on PvZ LE, holding up the rest of the map pool single-handedly. LE, we're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way into the bottom left-hand corner. We have the red Zerg player coming down from Korea. He is top-performing Zerg player, at least top-performing Korean Zerg player in 2020, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. We have Rogue.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RYEG. It is Zest.
Zeph has a suggestion for us here in chat. When are we going to be doing a Korean intro?
Oh my god, that's not gonna happen. I feel like we need Kronos for that one, or at least Saji. Like, oh
no,
god,
we need Kronos.
That would be. How's your Korean Duolingo? How's that working out for you?
De Hyun.
Pokari sweat, just.
Okari.
Taeyang, there you go.
Chowaso.
Oh. Juseo?
Ah.
Okay. I'm gonna stop this now before things get out of hand. But now that you say it, like, honestly, I wouldn't mind. If we, like, some of us commit.
It can't be worse than the Spanish intro.
The Spanish intro isn't bad though. Like, it's understandable. Like, the Spanish intros are pretty good. Like, they love it. A Hangul, a Korean intro though. I feel like we need to work on that. We need to invest time into actually learning Korean, to the point where, like, we at least know the basics, and then we can whip out the broken Korean.
Do we know?
Yeah, when I say basics, I mean at least know how to enunciate, like, letters, so that we can Google Translate and then just do it that way. Like, if
Protoss.
we could. We'll think about it.
We will. And speaking of thinking about it, Zest definitely thinking about how he wants to continue on from the Stargate. We saw him last week. He really popped off with the Stargate play. He brought back Mass Oracle. He was doing some triple Stargate openings. He was doing double Stargate Fleet Beacon. Every different build every time, but all relying on this one building.
Yeah. If you recall, when we casted Zest as well, like, he had quite a number of Stargate play. But then there was that one game where he went back to basics and actually went for Glaive Adepts. So yeah,
was that the Ace match?
I believe it was the Ace match. But yeah, like, he is showing that he does still have that versatility available to him, that you can't just assume that he's going to open up Stargate every single game.
And definitely still as refined as ever, at least his openings are. Just making it as efficient as he possibly could, especially in that Master Oracle game. Mamma mia.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that we just didn't expect. It's like, oh my god, like, this doesn't happen too often when it comes to the Korean Terrans that Korean Protosses that we cast. Maybe someone like Patience, but yeah, for Zest to whip that out, that was amazing to see. We'll see if we get more of that in this series against Rogue.
Now, we'll have to look out for, but again, this is a best of 5. Ideally, we get the full 5 games, and that really allows us to see what Zest has been planning and what he's really capable of. Oracle following the Void Ray. That's gonna be a first for me, Light. I haven't seen too many Protoss players do that.
And I love this. So now the Void Ray is here to back up that Oracle, try and chip away at the Queens. Meanwhile, 2 pros have gone down. Oh, the Oracle goes back in.
I honestly really like the idea behind this now. Yeah, that Void Ray can take up quite a bit of damage, taking very minimal hull damage. I mean, Rogue, he did target down the Oracle, so it is pretty badly bruised, but the important thing is it's alive.
Yeah, definitely it is there in that corner. Meanwhile, behind this, we saw Zest whip this out quite a number of times. We saw Patience attempt and fail at this earlier today. We have double Stargate. Oh, and it gets scouted.
Immediately. Yeah, that is a bit of a risk you're taking building your second Stargate there. And it looks like Zest is, you know, continuing to commit to this Void Ray style, as you say, but again, he's going to be doing it in a very different way than Patience. He's got to.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, like everyone plays it differently to Patience, to be fair. Mate, let me remind you and everyone who wasn't watching, or even the ones who were watching, Patience went double Stargate into double Robo Immortal production against Lingbane Hydra. It did not work at all. Like, you would expect that to fall on his face, and it did. It was, it was like, Patience, what are you doing, mate? But yeah, we shouldn't see that from Zest. We do see, there it is, off of the double Stargate play. He is going for the charge lots with +1.
Yeah, so gonna be you know, cutting his, well, not really cutting his losses, but rather knowing understanding when things are effective and when they aren't. So yeah, gonna be transitioning. I mean, I think I just came up with a roundabout definition of what transitioning is.
Yeah, he is, you know, opting to go for those charge lots to support his Void Rays, as he is still pumping out Void Rays as well. It's going to be Void Rays with those charge lots. We do have a single Robo on the way, so I'm curious to see if this is just for the Warp Prism. Is he going to throw down a Robotics Bay to get some kind of AoE to support him? Oh, nope, there we go. Again, a lot more standard. Mate, we got some High Templars.
He's going to make Immortals. No, yeah, it is just going to be that standard charged Archon along with these Void Rays to sort of support him. Absolutely needs the Warp Prism though, not only for micro, but also for the harass potential.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll see what Rogue does as a response, because so far he's playing this out pretty similarly to how he did against Patience. He's committing to these Hydras. He also has a Roach Warren just in case he needs to transition into Roaches. What's interesting is that this time though, he did not commit into Banelings.
I just noticed that, yeah. Not going for Lingbane Hydra this time, and this is just going to make these charge hits that much more effective. They can just charge right on top of these Hydras, no worry whatsoever of just, you know, getting destroyed by the Banelings. There we go, an Immortal. Yeah,
definitely, and oh, now we see why. So again, really interesting response here from Rogue. He is going for the Nidus.
Wow.
And this could work again. Yeah, like Storm isn't ready.
No, it is not. I mean, to be fair, Zest, he is getting a couple of Immortals out, and they do a lot of damage against the Nidus, but he also needs to know where exactly the Nidus is coming from. Looks like Rogue, he's just going to be using it to reinforce.
Oh yeah, it's looking to be just a reinforcing Nidus. We have the Fleet Beacon on the way, so Zest is getting ready to ramp up into that Skytos army, but Rogue is looking not to allow that to happen.
Yeah, already setting up his surround here. Zest, he knows that this is coming for him, so he started. Oh no!
That was beautifully done by Rogue.
Yeah, I feel like that was an accident. I mean, that Zergling, it would have been gone for the radius, but yeah, very nicely done here.
Yeah, exactly. Also important to point out, Storm did just finish. 1 Storm was wasted, 3 more available for Zest.
And sometimes 3 is all that he needs. 2 more available for him now. We'll see how he utilizes it. That was definitely an intentional split with the Zergling, though.
Yeah, and there we go. Ooh,
it's the feedbacks.
Yeah, decides to feedback instead. Does land 1 good Storm. Overcharge is being used, and now we have all these Zealots warping in to defend. No Banelings.
Beautiful defense happening here for Zest. I'm just really liking how he realized, oh yeah, those Queens, they can actually really mess me up if I allow them to live. Feedback time. Rogue immediately GG's, and Zest gonna be taking game #1. looking so solid.
Oof, GG, that was beautiful to see. I may be a Zerg player, but mate, Zest, that was amazing. Despite his stasis wards not really being effective whatsoever, both stasis wards were wasted on a single Ling. And Zest, like, he was even getting ready for the transition. Like, he had a fleet beacon on the way. He was working on a 4th base as well. He was trying to expand. Like, Rogue was 100% all in, and Zest, like, he was ready for it.
It all comes back to that Void Ray Oracle.
It was all about that one Void Ray and that one Oracle. Just, you know, side to side up against those queens.
Oh my god, I clicked on the staff's lobby.
No! Cricket! Oh no, so did I! Oh god!
Oh no! Invite the game!
Make sure they didn't start. Tell them not to start. Oh god. I'm trying to join. Okay. Right.
Yeah, that's
stats, please.
Welcome to Korean events, by the way, if you are unfamiliar with how this works.
Oh yeah. If you're not in there in the first couple of seconds, mate, they start without you.
No, I mean, I get it, you know?
Yeah.
They just have all this APM. They don't want to compromise it. And yeah, it's a bit of confirmation here. Stats did take out Solar 2-0. Will now be going up against Trap. That will be covered over on Renegade's channel, Maddox's channel, and Glide's channel in English, Korean, and Russian, respectively.
Oh, nice. That does also confirm that the winner of this series will be going up against a Protoss player.
Oh, yeah. But which one is going to be the question as we continue on to Def Aura LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, sweating all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. The Red Zerg player coming down from South Korea. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. I just realized that he was on the Team Wings, and now he's on Team Phoenix. He likes his flying. We have Rogue.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RYEG. It is Zest.
So, I gotta be honest with you, Light. I'm anticipating another Stargate here.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Mate, to be fair, like, Zest, he is one to whip out the Twilight Council opening, but on Death Aura, I would like some Stargate play.
Yeah, you really do have quite an advantage here going for that Stargate, which, I mean, some would argue that that's why you should go for the Twilight Council, you know, catch Rogue off by surprise, but yeah, I don't think the element of surprise is a worthy enough trade for for utilizing the Stargate in the very quick what's it called, air rush distance and all of this dead air.
Definitely. I do also want to touch on the previous game where, like, it was so cool to see Rogue. Obviously, Rogue realized what Zest was going for, like his opener, and he decided, okay, this is my plan. I'm going to rush into Hydras, get as many of them as I can, not waste any gas on Banelings, and go for this big all-in. And despite, you know, going for that, and for the most part, Rogue's economy was left perfectly fine. Like, what, 4 drones died to the Oracle? Like, that's really the only thing that hindered him. And Zest, like, he was just so, like, set up defensively with all those shield batteries. Storm finishing up just in time as well.
And Rogue positioned that, in my mind, on Pills of Gold, about the best he could have as well. He split up his forces, got about an equal amount of Hydras on both sides, had the range upgrade, and had some Queens there as well, just for, you know, additional transfuses or some additional anti-air. But somehow, Zest, he's still held. And he's not even a Protoss player you would normally associate with defensive play.
Yeah, that's why it's all the more impressive. Like, it's not like we were watching stats in the driver's seat or anything like that, where we would expect someone like him to be on top of that defense. So yeah, really well done by Zest. So far, in game number 2, we do have, once again, this Stargate opener. A little bit different, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, question mark.
I mean, he's going for the Void Ray first this time. I don't remember if he went Oracle first or Void Ray first in the last game, but yeah, we'll see what he gets after this.
I'm really curious to see if Zest is going to go for a double Void Ray opener, if he's going to go for the Oracle again 2 games in a row.
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah, hopefully everything's okay with Zest. You know, maybe there's some menu log, you know, at the door.
Yeah, exclamation mark menu pog in the chat as always. But yeah, again, just another reason why a player like Zest is different than a player like Patience.
Yeah, see,
I'm never gonna let him live that down.
Never, mate. If this was Patience would have just instantly GG'd. We'd be like, "What?" Question mark. He said, "Oh, sorry, there was something at the door," and we would just be headed into game 3.
To be fair, we don't know that that's the case here for Zest.
It's true.
You know, mouse issue or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we are back in it. And will once again be Void Ray Oracle coming up from Zest. See if he utilizes it the same way. Right now, the Void Ray just used a little bit more for chasing Overlords, and that's an Evo Chamber coming up.
That's a very fast Evo coming out from Rogue. Mate, are you feeling +1 melee and just like a Ling Bane all in? It could be. It's a little bit too early to call, but again, there it is.
Melee. I only see one gas though, so it can't be Banelings, right?
Well, so there are a couple of options here for Rogue. Like, if you wanted to, depending on a lair timing, but like, it doesn't even matter. It's gonna get scouted. It gets scouted.
Okay, it does get scouted. I was worried there for a second, but the Oracle just hit the right pixel.
Mm-hmm.
And actually able to make it out of there. No, Zest, what are you doing?
Oh my god!
Fire right now. He's playing so much of fire. About 3 more hits and Oracle would have been taken out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so again, there were a couple of times where Rogue, he dipped in and out, and he saw this Evo Chamber. He saw it was researching. He hasn't seen the lair. The lair is a big tell, because this could be for, like, Druppalors, this could be for a Nidus. But again, like, we'll see how Zest is going to respond to this, because I don't know if, like, pumping out more and more Void Rays is necessarily the right call. He is going for double Stargate.
Yeah, I mean, he is starting to get more of these Void Rays, so best case scenario, it is Druppalords coming out from Rogue, and you know, is just able to intercept them in time. Baneling that's being thrown down, as well as that lair. Do you think Rogue is just going into very quick Noodling Bane?
No.
No.
Maybe, because he is taking a decent amount of gases, to be fair, right? Like, he has 4 gases, so it's possible that he isn't going for an all-in. It's possible that he isn't going for a Baneling bust. Because of this +1 timing though, because of how early it was, like, that's what it says. But at the same time, Rogue is getting a 4th base. It's possible that, hey, I want to go for this, but because it got scouted by the Oracle, he's like, okay, I'm not going to go for it. I'm going to back off and just continue this out, because I'm going to respect Zest enough to believe that he's going to defend against, like, an earlier all-in.
Oh yeah, especially after the game number 1.
Exactly.
And Rogue gonna have to have a bit of a change of plans here. Will be in Hydra Den. Bit more solid when dealing with this, you know, this gateway Stargate composition coming out from Zest rather than the Mutas.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see +2 starting immediately from Rogue. So Rogue is going to have a really nice upgrade advantage here in this game. We'll see how he's going to be able to transition into his Ling Bane Hydra style, as that is what he's going for, which is a nice counter to what Zest is going for. But again, he just hasn't been able to really capitalize on these upgrades quite yet.
Yeah, decided to finish up that +1 melee and actually going into +2 here. So we're going to be really seeing the Ling Bane having a lot more of an effect. And to be fair, Zest is continuing with the Charged Archon High Templar composition for his gateway unit. So yeah, Hydra Ling Bane, that does pretty well against those.
Yeah, I think what's important to note is that obviously we mentioned it in game number 1. This time Rogue is going to have Banelings. Like, he's going to have a nice buffer, a nice supportive unit for his Hydras so that the Zealots don't clean everything up.
Absolutely. How do you prevent the buffer from attacking your key units? Just have a buffer of your own.
Exactly. Like, that's exactly what you need. Like, lone Hydras are not what you want to be going for. Meanwhile, Zest is just, you know, defending up on the 4 bases. He's already got his High Templar out. Storm is on the way. He's working on +1 air attacks and a Fleet Beacon.
Yeah, very quick transition into the late game army here for Zest. Keeping the Warp Prism at bay. Does not want to lose that.
Yep, no, he does not. Meanwhile, there's a massive Ling run by looking to try and get on top of these High Templar, but ooh, does go for a first back.
Oh, not quite going for a flank there.
High Templar!
Those Templar were looking so vulnerable, but quick morph into Archon right at the last second, keep it alive.
What
And
a
Archons,
guy.
they have so much value in this matchup as time goes on. Even gets the plug in that wall.
Oh my god, even catches all the lings here with the stasis ward. Again, that was so close. One more second and Rogue would have got in. Hey, you know what? Zest, he just closes the door. He's like, nah, mate, you're done.
You've had enough.
You're not allowed in, none whatsoever. So he just completely walls off the ramp as well. Again, just kind of macroing up, securing his 4th base here. Meanwhile, quite a number of banelings. Your Rogue, he's getting ready.
Indeed he is. And I mean, sure, the harass didn't really get too much done, but that was just a prelude to this main army.
Yeah. Decent storm again. That's what you have to be worried about. There are still plenty of storms available here for Zest. Meanwhile, Zest is actually pushing out in the middle of the map. Oh my god.
Oh, he's trying to go for a bit of a flank here. Rogue is starting to make some headway. These Zealots doing quite a bit on this lone base. Will be taken care of by the Banelings, but you know, on the flip side of that, it does also force all of the Ling Bane to come back for Rogue.
Yeah, Rogue decides not to commit to any kind of engagement because his Ling Bane was forced to go back home to defend, so he didn't have that to protect his Hydras. And now Zest, he was able to buy himself some time for the carriers.
And that is really the key unit right now for Run by getting denied.
Jesus Christ, more and more free units here. To be fair, this one Ling got a probe, you know, nicely done by Rogue. Speaking of Rogue, I'm waiting to see where he goes from here, because right now he's just stuck on Ling Bane Hydra. Eventually, you need a Spire. You need to get into something else. He's opted not to go for a Spire, instead Infestors.
Yeah, Infestors as well as that Hive, and I mean, we've seen this before, haven't we? Like, Microbial Shroud, if you get enough of them with enough Hydras, carriers do basically nothing.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit concerned that it may be too late. Like, I would expect Infestors out a little bit earlier. Now, like, at this stage of the game, when Zest is getting his end game composition, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to pull off. To be fair, we have seen it before, right? Last week.
Yeah, I think the silver lining here for Rogue is that Zest still a little far from being maxed out, and he is going into this carrier-based composition for his late game, so it will take a while for him to get to that point. So Rogue, he's got a bit of a window here to, you know, finish up his pathogen glands, get those Infestors with extra energy out, and just, you know, be able to max out much quicker than Zest will.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see Hive is on the way as well, so, you know, Rogue has the options available to him if he wants to go into Infestors or Vipers or a mixture of both, as we do see 5 Infestors are on the way, so Microbial Shroud or Fungal are going to be available to him, whichever one he decides to go for, depending on the situation.
And just top it all off with the cherry on top, 1 Neural Parasite.
Oh, and interesting. So this makes sense because Rogue doesn't have a Spire. He's opting to go for an Ultralisk Cavern instead. Okay,
not the worst decision ever. I mean, if you look at the Zest ground army, it is not very existent. So these Ultras, they can just very much ignore the Sky Toss and just get a lot of damage done. Ground army for Rogue, start to push in. Carriers doing so much against the Hydras. Infestors just arrived too late. 1 Microbial Shroud, but only 4 of those Hydras remaining. And Zest, twice the army supply right now. He's cleaning up so hard. It's like he's using that life hack where you boil the vinegar or something.
Exactly, like what an anti-timing. Rogue engaged with the army without the Infestors, and now all the Hydras went down before the Infestors really came into play. And
match point already. GG. This is a far cry from the Zest we saw last week, who was already looking so impressive. Rogue, I mean, there's still a chance for him to have a reverse sweep here, but this is one of the most solid that Zest has been looking.
Mate, I just wanted to say, Rogue, he's arguably the best Zerg player in Korea right now. You know, it's within contention between like Rogue and Solar, I would say.
Right now.
Yeah, exactly. But Zest is making him look bad.
He really is. Well, I mean, Rogue, he's still playing competent. Like, he's doing everything he's supposed to do. But Zest, I mean, I don't know, like...
For the most part, right? For the most part, he's doing what he's supposed to do. Like, he was macroing up, he had his bases, he made his tech decisions, right, to round out his army. He just didn't have everything ready, you know? He didn't have his infestors with his hydras. He was the one who initiated that fight, and he had other tech coming up, right? Hive was just finishing up, he had an Ultra's Cavern, but yeah, Zest just forced that engagement just exactly when he needed it to happen, and my god.
It was like Rogue saw the finish line, but Zest, he had a blue shell.
Oh god.
Man, if those infestors came in, like, at the start of engagement, I mean, Stream is starting to catch up to it now. Those infestors were there, that would have been a completely different story, but Zest, he said, let's fight.
Yeah.
And Rogue had no choice. He had to.
Rogue was like, all right, let's go. He's like, oh god, where are my infestors? They come in after all the hydras are dead. I'm looking at the replay right now, like, oh god.
Beautiful engagement by Zest.
Wow. Oh my god, and with that, Zest, he's already up 2-0 in this best of 5 semifinals. Is he just gonna, is he really going to clean sweep like Rogue? Is it gonna be a 3-0?
It's very possible, but I would not count Rogue out just yet. And speaking of counting, we're now in game number 3. Count it, number 3. Of this best of 5 semifinals. We're here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE. He's breathing heavily. That's causing quite a bit of oxidation right now because he needs to start turning things around. One more map and he gets wiped out without too much to show for him. I mean, still, he had a pretty impressive run. But representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG, we have Rogue.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RYEG. Already up 2-0 in this best of 5, mate. It is Rogue. Zest, sorry, I'm all over the place right now.
The thing is, you are so used to Rogue being the one who be on match point at this point. Right now.
I am. My god, I'm just so impressed by how Zest is playing right now. Like,
and I'll remind everyone, Rogue, he did not drop a single map until he faced Zest tonight.
Yeah, like he was looking so good.
The first semi-finalist.
He blazed his way all the way to the semi-finals. But mates, now he's met his match. He's met Zest, and Zest, he's on fire today. Is it too soon to say so? Like, again, we have seen reverse sweeps happen. We have seen people come back from this situation down 2-0 in a best of 5. So Rogue, as you said, he isn't out of it. He's a very experienced player. I doubt like this has been able to like shook him to the core to the point where he's just falling apart and he just can't handle the stress. Like, nah, mate, Rogue, he's been here before. He's a world champion, and it's on him to start to bring it back.
And we'll see what he has in store here. Now, Oxide, I will consider Oxide to be a map where you can do a lot in the early game. You know, there's a lot of cheese potential for Dessert player, but so far Rogue is still playing it out about as usual as he normally does. We'll see if he decides to be a bit more aggressive as you come out from the start of the game.
Definitely. I was about to theorize, pose you the question, you know, and now that Zest is up 2-0, like, is this the game where he decides to whip out something like a Twilight Council? But we do see Zest, he's going for the exact same thing, the exact same opener he has for the past 2 games, and there's no reason for him to deviate. At the moment, he has refined this style to a T, to the point where he feels comfortable enough to just whip it out every single game, and it's on Rogue to try and stop him.
Yeah, and honestly, when Zest gets to that point, that is scary. For years, Zest had that reputation of being the Protoss player who will take the builds that other people are doing and then refine it down in a way that only he really can, to the point where it just looks unbeatable.
Yeah, it's what he did at IM Katowice. It's what he did at the beginning of the year with the Glaive Adepts, and now he feels comfortable enough to be in this situation. Rogue, like, I feel like he isn't necessarily like doing the wrong moves. You can argue maybe in game 1 he risked a lot, but it was game 1, you know, why not go for like a big all-in like that? But now, like, we'll see what he's able to do here. Oh,
Oh, another quick Evo chamber. And this time keeping it at his third base location. So yeah, this is gonna be tougher for Zest to scout unless for some reason he decides, you know what, I'm gonna go for that base you took earlier instead of your main.
So we were talking about this in game number 2 on Death Aura, where Rogue went for a very fast Evo chamber to go for the Bane bust, and how in the end he we didn't see that come out because it was scattered so early. I feel like he wants to try and roll the dice again. I feel like he wants to do the same thing, this time hide it a little bit better and try and execute it. But yo, Zest, he's going straight for the third.
He's splitting up his Void Ray and his Oracle of all games to go with them separately.
Oh god.
He's got a crystal ball.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Zest, he saw the Evo, he saw it researching.
All right, well, let's see if Rogue has anything, if he commits to this anyway, if, you know, he decides that, you know what, my mistake last game was giving up too soon. So, he might switch things up here. Otherwise, we might see a pretty similar game to game number 2.
Yeah, we will see. Again, when it comes to the ending of game number 2, a lot of it did come down to that final engagement. Again, it was some an error in decision making for Rogue. It's something that I don't think we're going to see that again. You know, fighting with all your Hydras without your spellcasters if he does have them. So we'll see as Zest once again going for the double Stargate.
Yeah, committing to the Void Rays once more, at least for now. Baneling that's coming out right here for Rogue.
Yeah, and he's making a decent wave of links. He isn't committing as he is still working on his drone count. Or he does also have the lair on the way. So yeah, once again, it's possible that, you know, he just wants +1 for his ground units and he's just going to go tech into Hydras.
Yeah, Hydras or potentially Mutas this game. I think that Hydras are the safer bet, but if Rogue decides what went wrong for me last game was the fact that my run-bys, you know, they didn't get much damage done. Maybe if I just harass Zest with something like Mutas, might be able to change the tides.
And
but we'll see.
Yeah, and it looks like Rogue wants to hit that timing. +1 is about to finish up, and he's making a massive wave of links to join the links that he already has. So we'll see if he's going to be able to find some damage. But Zest, look at that wall at the third. Like he's ready defensively.
There's one entrance point over there.
Oh boy.
And Oracle's still alive. I'm not quite sure where it is, but yeah, Zest still has the opportunity to start throwing down a couple of stasis wards. Oh, actually, it was patrolling around here, just making sure that. Oh, okay.
Okay, and I like this. So Rogue, he's actually just preparing the area, preparing the map for a massive push. He's just getting rid of all the rocks whatsoever to make room for the Hydras. We have all the upgrades on the way as well.
It's like he's seasoning it.
He's marinating it, if you will.
Yeah. Getting it ready for turning up the heat.
Yeah. The real question is he marinating the map for himself or for Zest?
That's gonna be the question. Is it gonna be like a is it gonna be a marinade for a grill, or is it gonna be a marinade that for like a stew?
Oh, there you go. That's going to be the question, as we do have Zest again rounding out his army. This time he barely committed to Void Rays. Like, he's had double Stargate production for a while, but again, he's only made 3. Like, he hasn't really committed to them.
Yeah, I mean, gonna be relying a little bit more on his ground army for now, being a bit more active on the map this game. Backing away with his harass over here, should meet up with the rest of his army.
Yeah, he has to be careful. I'm so surprised. Zest, he's diving into creep without a War Prism. Like, his War Prism is across the map over on the left-hand side. So, again, the micro potential, the potential to reinforce his army is very limited.
Yeah, and so he's trying to go for some crude multi-progs, and honestly, this is not the best position to not have the Void Ray at. Good force fields. And the Banelings do connect with the Archons instead of the, oh, there were a couple of Adepts in that army.
Yeah,
this will probably cleaned up though. Yeah,
the Banelings crashed into all the sentries, so those 2 force fields were the only force fields available for Zest. Meanwhile, that War Prism did warp in across the map, so he was able to kill some queens. Oh wow.
Yeah, and now this hatchery will go down along with a decent amount of drones with it. Work out about even, but the important thing is that now we have a Protoss player who's on equal basis to the Zerg player.
Yeah, I'm so surprised that Zest was somehow able to take out this hatchery despite those juicy Baneling connections. So Rogue, unfortunately, he was spread a little bit too thin. He was trying to defend on 2 areas at once. And yeah, Zest, yeah, like really interesting. He's trying to juke his opponent out, like by not using these Stargates.
Yeah, Utilizing a couple of mind games here. Really nice to see. I'm really surprised that Rogue decided to just give up on that 4th base to deal with the Western attack. Because he really didn't have anything there that he needed to defend.
Yeah, definitely. And now as a result, he lost the hatchery. He is trying to retake it. Meanwhile, Zest is sneakily taking a base over on the right-hand side. We'll see if that ends up getting spotted later on. The War Prism is being forced back, so Zest has to be careful with that.
Cheeky. Good Storm sticking around a bunch of those Banelings, but a couple of them do connect with some Zealots. Not the worst loss here for Zest, but you know, get whatever you can get right now if you're Rogue.
Yeah, I'm just so confused, to be honest. Like what is Zest spending his money on? Like, his army is quite small. Like, he had a 1k bank, like mineral bank. Like, he has so many minerals. He just can't spend his money. He's just trying to get as many gas units as he can.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how many gamers do he have? He has
12. Yeah.
Yep, 12.
Where are the Zealots? I mean, I guess you don't want them because of the Banelings, but like Zest, what's happening with the macro, man? Oh my god.
Yeah, he's really prioritizing those gas units, as you said, but I mean, he has to spend his minerals somehow.
Yeah, there we go. He is warping in some Zealots for run-bys. Oh, the Nexus does get denied. The other Nexus looking to be denied as well.
Yeah, Zest does turn around, but it is so low. Cancel at the last second. Really nicely done here by Rogue.
Yeah, and once again, Zesty's got that bank, you know, like he desperately needs more gases if he wants to continue with this army composition that he's going for. He's got Blink on the way as well.
Zest bank TM. Huh, Blink, huh.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he doesn't.
Mortals?
Yeah, I'm just so surprised that he isn't going for a Fleet Beacon. Like, it's a very interesting decision here, the army composition that he's opted to go for.
Those are very interesting how those Zealots and those Banelings interacted. It does force in overcharge, to be fair.
Yeah, the Banelings, they didn't get into a mineral line at least. As he desperately needs his 4th base to get up and running. Oh my god. He needs that base. He needs those gases.
At this point, I would just throw down a couple of cannons over there, throw down a couple of shield batteries as well. You know, spend those minerals.
I think something that's surprising to me is even though Rogue has seen the main army, he hasn't gone for a Lurker Den. Like, this is a very ground-based composition, and he just hasn't opted to take in that direction.
Yeah, surprisingly. I mean, kind of relying a bit on the Banelings here, and does manage to snipe somebody's very high energy, high Templar. And with that, that's a lot of the oomph taken out of Zest's army.
Yeah, definitely as well. This is happening. Another massive warping of Zealots over on the left-hand side as well. Zest trying to pull his opponent apart, but again, a lot of his buffer is gone.
It is gone, but the Archons are very beefy. One of them still surviving. Despite all that, he is knee-deep in creep, though. Zest is.
Yeah, and his army is starting to run out. He's definitely trying to warp in, forces Rogue to pull the boys.
Oh, that's the first good sign here for Zest. Hydras do start to come in on top of this Warp Prism, though. Taking out a lot of drones. Immortals really living up to the name.
Yeah,
actually evacuated them. Takes out 16 workers, but was it worth it in the end? I mean, just look at the army supply.
Exactly. Like, we'll see 16 workers do go down. In the end, Zest's army supply was essentially reset, forced to warp in at home. And we'll see if Zest can get this 4th base up and running.
Yeah, we desperately need some more than anything right now. Needs a way to be able to replace those Archons, those Templar, those Immortals.
This game is so scrappy. Like, it's so, like, they both have like such low army supplies. They both lost a lot. There's Zest with only 3 base economy, Rogue with losing all his drones at his 3rd.
It's so scrappy, but it's not scrappy in the sense that, oh yeah, bases are going down left and right. It's more of they literally cannot get another base up.
Oh my god, and we'll see what happens from here. Again, I'm just so surprised. I mean, to be fair, like, Zest, because he's been stuck on 3 base economy, he hasn't really had the economy to go into a Fleet Beacon, to go into that Skytoss army that he so desperately wants to.
And that's exactly what Rogue is kind of counting on. Because again, he's stuck on very much so a layer-based composition. Don't believe he has a hive either. No, he does not. Not even an infestation pit. So yeah, he's gonna be stuck on a 2-2 layer composition for quite some time. Yeah,
again, really odd, to be honest, like being stuck on layer at this stage of the game, but at the same time, it's like it's not like Zest is teched up either.
Understandable.
Yeah,
it's kind of understandable considering how many drones right now throughout this game. This has got to be the first wave of tempo really going into Rogue's favor, though. forces Zest to start pushing across the map.
Yeah,
Really good on top of these Archons.
exactly. You know what? There weren't any Zealots to cover any of these Immortals or Archons, so they all go down over on the right-hand side. Now, finally, the Zealots come in, but now it's too late. There are only 3 Archons and 1 Immortal left, but is it going to be enough?
Well, they are focusing on the Queens. Zealot count starting to get thinned out. Good kiting with these Hydras. And of course, Rogue, he does have the defender's advantage. Zest cannot warp in here. Because he cannot really move away with his Warp Prism. Oof. I feel like Rogue is going to take him. Yeah, Rogue is going to take him out. GG. And what did I tell you? Like, do not count Rogue out just yet. Because he's fighting back.
Oh yeah, definitely. GG. Rogue takes game number 3 there, and again was kind of an interesting choice of composition there for Zest, where he teched into double Stargate. But if you recall, like I think he only made like 3 or 4 Void Rays in the end, and he just stopped with the Sky Toss completely. Just switched straight into ground, switched into Archons and Immortals, and he was just stuck on 3 bases for so long. He just could not get his economy going, couldn't get the gases. Was just stuck on those 6. And yeah, when he did finally get that 4th up and running, we saw that massive Baneling run by. We saw all those probes go down.
And with that, Zest forced it to an all-in, and yeah, couldn't quite break Rogue with it.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're going to be loading in to Romanticide.
Yeah, real quick though, thank you very much, Renegade, for that raid. How's everyone doing?
Oh yeah, shout out to Renegade, by the way. He was the other English caster today for ESL Open Cup Asia. He was covering the lower semi-finals, and as a quick update, Trap versus Zest, oh, never mind, it actually hasn't been updated on the bracket, so I'm not too sure how that is going.
It's going on.
Oh.
Yeah, we're in game 3 at the moment, tied up 1-1. So yeah, we'll have to wait on that. In the meanwhile, we are going to be on Romanticide, LE. LE, of course, standing for Lovers.
Egg.
Economy, Lovers Economy. That's the whatchamacallit. I don't really know. I was thinking of ecology. Because I was thinking of Amazon. I was like, wait, what is it called? The study of like nature and stuff. It's wait, so it's like the Amazon economy. In the bottom right-hand corner of the map, swatting in the bottom right-hand corner, the Red Zug player coming out from South Korea. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. We have Rogue.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RYEG. Currently up 2-1 in this best of 5, showing us all that he can bleed. It is Zest.
But you know what happens when you bleed? Like
you get a romantic economy.
What? You get a scar. And the scar. Well, okay, it doesn't actually work because the scar isn't harder or else.
And the scar takes over Pride Rock.
Ah.
There you go.
He gets eaten.
He does. Spoilers, by the way.
Screen. It happens off screen, but.
Oh my god. Yaku, please. The movie only came out like last year.
That's like one of the darkest Issue moments. It has to be up there.
It's one of those moments that, like, for me anyway, it was like really glossed over. Like, I don't think when I watched that as a child, I don't think it hit me that the hyenas ate Scar. Like, I didn't.
It didn't me either. I thought they just like threw him with the wildebeest because as a kid I was like, haha, poetic justice. You're gonna like make him get trampled over just like he did Mufasa. But then I was like, oh no, they ate him. Probably alive too, because that's what hyenas are kind of known for.
Yeah. Very, very dark time there in that Disney timeline. But you know, speaking of dark, we are on Romanticide. You know, a bit more of a purple map.
He didn't set up today, did he?
He didn't, unfortunately. God damn it, Dark.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine maybe focusing on TSL or maybe DreamHack Last Chance. As Dark, I mean, I'm not quite certain what his qualification is looking like, but if I'm not wrong, he's in about the middle of qualifying.
The EPT standings, you mean?
Yeah, the EPT standings is what I mean. Qualifying for Katowice.
Yeah. I think he's around the center. Of course, like, it's not like there are an insane amount of points available here in these weeklies, but regardless, every point does count, especially if you win multiple of these. So yeah, this is something that these players need to be thinking of, especially as we get to the end of 2020 and as IM Katowice gets ever closer and closer.
That's why Rogue, despite being the first player who was guaranteed a spot in IM Katowice, decided, you know what, end of the year, I'm just gonna ruin some people's days by stealing their EPT points.
Exactly, or at least he's trying to. I mean, he's trying to against Zest, and so far Zest has been able to dominate. And Rogue, once again, I don't know what it is with this opener, but he's going for the Evo.
Yeah, I mean, it worked once, it didn't work the second time. It worked once, it didn't work another
once.
time. You know what? Yeah, it worked once.
Oh my god, the Oracle!
Does get taken out. This time, Rogue was prepared for it. That trick will not work on him 4 times in a row.
Exactly. It's one of those things where, you know what, Rogue, he is warmed up now. He's ready to take on Zest here in game number 4, already sniping that Oracle, denying the scouting.
I'm pulling out for the reverse sweep now, Light.
It could happen. It's happened before. It could happen again. And like again, Rogue, he's been going for this Evo Chamber opening. So like for the past couple of games, we'll see if he's finally going to be able to hit some kind of timing with that, since it will be unscouted this game.
Yeah, unless Zest decides, you know what, I'm just gonna take the damage here on the Queen and, you know, sacrifice the Void Ray. But yeah, he is not doing that. He's doing the rational thing.
That he is, as this time he is, you know, focusing a little bit on those Void Rays. We do see a Twilight Council on the way, you know, +1 charge lots. This is kind of Zest's bread and butter. Meanwhile, we do see the Baneless on the way for Rogue.
Finally, are we gonna get the Bane Bust?
Maybe. We'll keep an eye on that worker count. We'll see if at some point he stops droning up, if he makes a massive wave of lings, or if again he just wants to safely get into those Hydras.
Well, I'll tell you what, like, he's at about 65 workers, which for the early mid-game for Zerg is generally where we see a lot of them, a lot of players sort of cutting production just to make sure they can get their tech up, but not Rogue.
No Rogue whatsoever. He is just droning up, you know, working on that Hydralisk den, I should say. Yeah, just taking up into that anti-air army. Meanwhile, Zest himself, he's also getting ready to counter those Hydras, going into Templar Archives, getting a massive wave of gateways.
And this time did he get the second Stargate? He did get the second Stargate. But just not really producing as many Void Rays as he previously did. 8 gateways on the way. This is...
Oof. Oh my. That's a lot of gates.
Swarm toss about to be thrown down here by Zest.
Yeah, is this gonna work though? Again, like a mass Zealot army when you're... Charge Lot Archon army against Lingbane Hydra? Maybe?
Maybe. I mean, this is... exactly what Hydras are, exactly what the Charged Archon want to see, but again, this time Rogue did not neglect the Banelingness.
Yeah, exactly. The Banelingness is about to finish up. Meanwhile, oh my god, we have Burrow in production on the way.
Burrow Banes?
I guess question mark in a ZVP. Okay,
it's entirely possible that he might just decide to borrow a couple of lings around just to have some vision, but you know what? May as well make them banelings at that point.
May as well. And we'll see, you know, a bit of a baneling run by being set up here over on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, there are Void Rays all over the place patrolling to make sure Zest is nicely turtled up. And I love this, finally. This is what he was missing previously in game number 3. It was really odd to see, but now we have Fleet Beacon and +1 flyer attack.
There we go. So he is still going to be doing what worked for him in game number 2, where he was able to really hit with a Sky Toss timing before Rogue was quite ready for it. But we'll see how long it takes for him to get there.
Oh, God.
As he's on 3 bases. This is a pretty big run by.
Oh, yeah, but as we were talking about, the Banelings make short work of those Zealots. But the Zealots, they did cause a lot of lost mining time.
Yeah, got some scouting done. I mean, to be fair, not much to really see here. Yeah, it's a Zerg player on Lair Tech and with Evo Chambers. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is that Zest, he was able to pull the entire army back home. It did buy him some time, especially because Rogue was getting ready to attack. Like, he had his Hydras outside the ramp, outside the third base. He was getting ready to dive in, but instead he was forced back home. And that's the thing that I'm worried about. Like, oh my god, the vision this game for Rogue is insane. And Zest, he's gonna need another base.
Real shortly. There we go, going for the 4th base. There's only one attack path here for Zest that Rogue doesn't have eyes on. But that also involves him mining out those mineral walls.
Oh boy. You know what, Rogue, he wants this base. He's pushing in right now, and what is there to defend? Like, there's not many Zealots or force fields.
Yeah, High Templar right in the front, but will be able to get behind cover in time. Rogue can't quite push up that ramp, but yeah, taking out that 4th base, that was what he wanted to get done with that army. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, exactly. Again, just containing his opponent to 3 bases. Zest, he needs to establish a 4th base at some point to really ramp up in his Skytoss production, because again, these carriers are quite expensive and he's trying to produce 3 at a time.
Yeah, and they do take a while to produce as well. I mean, Chrono Boost could definitely help, but again, with only 3 Nexus, that's not a lot of energy available for him.
Yeah, definitely. We do see Rogue is trying to find another angle of attack, but there are some High Templar here for Storms.
Yeah, they do manage to get just about as good at Storms as they really could have. Morphing into Archons in the right last second. And where's the rest of Zest's army?
Zest's army,
preoccupied.
yeah, it's just kind of chilling over on the right-hand side. As a result, there are plenty of Baneleys coming in to try and land with those probes, but they don't manage to get them. Nice pull away from Zest.
Yeah, all in all, only losing some static defense, a little bit of army, and 4 probes. Not a bad defense at all for Zest.
Now it's go time. Now Zest has defended. There's no more Ling Bane left for Rogue. Now he's like, okay, now is the opportunity to push out across the map. But at the same time, oh, never mind. He pulls back. He's like, you know what? I just want a 4th. That's all Zest really wants.
Yeah, that's his only goal here. Like, is that too much to ask?
Well, that
yeah, apparently so. Apparently so.
Yeah, that bird Ling has something to say about that.
Yeah, I guess that's also not really confident moving out before he's maxed out. He knows that, you know, his army is pretty immobile. He can't, if he goes in, then he has to go in. Prevents his massive run by, and yeah, probably just doesn't want to go too deep into creep.
Yeah,
just get it anyway.
That was a lot of Lings for a single storm, by the way. That was.
It was. I mean, I thought they dodged a storm for a sec, but I guess, I don't know, they just died afterwards.
Yeah, the storm was just too much for those Lings. It was, definitely was. We have another Ling run by being set up by Rogue. Rogue himself, he is expanding, you know, taking a 5th base. He already has 1 Spire. He's getting a 2nd Spire, transitioning into Corruptors.
And this is where things start to get a lot scarier here for Zest. I mean, he's been on such a low economy for so long. He has a better army for now, but Rogue, not only is he about to build up into a better army, but he's also got a lot of economy to back him up.
Oh yeah, for the past couple of minutes, Rogue has been left alone completely by Zest, and as a result, he's been able to expand, take more bases, drone up, tech up. He's got his infestation pit on the way, 4 Hive, 4 Vipers.
And now he's maxed out, he's just looking to continue building up that bank. Zest still a ways away. Stop building the carriers, which I think is, I mean, I think that's completely fine at this stage of the game. I mean, he really needs some other army that's a bit cheaper they can get.
Yeah, as Rogue is trying to find an opportunity here and there, I will say that that Rogue, it's the only thing he's missing. Never mind, I was gonna say the Spore Forest, mate. He's already ready for that. He's already got his. I don't know if this is a forest. It's like a park. Maybe needs a couple more spores.
It's like a Singapore forest, where it's not quite a forest.
Yeah. Regardless, like, he's setting up for it. You know, he has Hydras, Corruptors, Spores. At some point, he's going to be working on Vipers or Infestors, whichever he decides is his spellcaster of choice.
Now, has Zest played too passive? And if he continues to play more and more passive as time goes on, then yeah, definitely. But now it looks okay for Zest. Beautiful, pulling away the carriers, making sure that they were exposed here. And Zest, with only a handful of Void Rays, not quite enough to really deal with all these Corruptors.
Yeah, exactly. What's important is that there are no more High Templar, 4 Storm. Everything on the ground was taken out, but you know what? There's just so much on the sky for Zest.
Indeed, there is. The rest of the Void Race also meet up. Lost 12 probes and getting a little bit of deja vu here. Like, now Zest gonna pull the trigger because he knows that there's not really a way for him to macro out of this.
Oh my god, I'm a little bit concerned because 40 Lings are on the way for Rogue, and I don't know if that's exactly what he wants to spend his money on. To be fair, he doesn't have a lot of gas, and now he's going to be relying on his stack defense and the handful of Hydras and Corruptors that he has left.
That's 2,000 minerals he just spent on something that you may or may not get much use of. Zerglings going for this flank with the Archons. The Archons actually positioned very well here. Takes out every single one of these Zerglings, but it does keep the Corruptors as well as the Hydras alive, and that is the key units right here for Rogue. Prismatic alignment being utilized over here, but Rogue just has way too much both on the ground and in the sky. No interceptors left for Zest.
Exactly.
Look at that, we're getting our ace match.
Yeah, the defensive position of Rogue was too great with the Queens, with the Hydras, with the stack defense, and GG gets called.
Rogue taking it to the ace match here. He's warmed up.
Yeah, he is warmed up. It was looking really shaky for Rogue, already being down 2-0 to Zest, but he's brought it back. We're headed into that ace match.
And as a bit of an update here, just what I'm looking at from these streams, it looks like stats, he is up 2-1 against Trap. They are currently in a 12, well, I guess at this point, 14-minute game.
Yeah, and when it came to that game, I think Rogue, he did a really good job at just containing Zest on 3 bases for so long. Like, whether it was with his Ling and Hydra positioning, whether it was with his Lings being borrowed on location as well, like... yeah, it was just so difficult for Zest to really expand, and as a result, when he finally did push out, like Rogue, he had a massive bank, he had the Spore Forest, he could afford to lose an engagement, remax, and then just go again.
Absolutely. I guess at the end, my question got kind of answered there. Yeah, Zest definitely played too passive. And now that Rogue's got all this momentum behind him, it is looking more and more likely that we do get that reverse sweep light.
Yeah, we'll see if Zest can switch things up here in the ace match. Mate, is this where we're going to see the Twilight Council?
It's likely, actually, now that I think about it. But anyways, here we are now on Jagannatha LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. He was down 0-2. He was sweating after such a series, but now he's warmed up, he's ready. All comes down to this map. The Reds coming out from Korea, gonna be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. We have Rogue.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RYEG. It is Zest.
All right. Time to cannon rush now.
Oh my god, if Zest went Forge first, that would have been insane. I've never seen Zest Cannon Rush before. But now we're in the ace match. We were mentioning it, like, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world if Zest decided not to go for a Stargate first.
Yeah, I mean, he has been doing it throughout this entire series, and especially in that last game. I mean, Rogue, he really showed that he was getting used to defending against that, so I really feel like it's on Zest to switch things up. I mean, he did find a style that was very refined, and there are some series that really come down to just, you know, what if I do what I did last game but do it better? But I feel like Zest has reached a point where he can't quite do better with that style, at least not now.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, there are different ways to go from a Stargate opener. Like, we have seen players go for, like, Stargate first, you get a Void Ray, you deny scouting, and then you go straight into Glaive Adepts, for example. But I feel like, now that I say that, I feel like maybe that's why Rogue goes for earlier Evo Chambers, for that earlier +1, just so his Lings are a little bit more beefier to deal with something like that, to deal with something a little bit more unorthodox, as a follow-up from the Stargate.
Yeah, they will be able to chew through those adapts that much quicker, and yeah, you just need to rely less on roaches at that point. Meanwhile, we have been proven wrong. Zest is once again going to be going for the Stargate, but as you said, multiple different ways of playing the Stargate. of utilizing the Stargate. So we could see another Void Ray Oracle, but I would doubt that we see that again.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, I think we all expect Zest to do something a little bit differently. Meanwhile, Rogue is making a decent amount of lings. He has stopped. Look at the worker count. He stopped worker production a while ago. He's going for a massive link flood. He's all in, mate.
He stopped mining gas. That's a massive wall.
Yep. I mean,
Zest. Oh no!
Oh
Zest.
no! He's in, mate. Is this how it's gonna end? Oh no!
It very much could be how it all ends. Forced to pull the probes, and now they're starting to get really surrounded by all of these links. There's still a massive hole in that wall. Void Ray is not going to be able to.
I think that this may be the way we see Zest go down, because everything is depowered. The production is depowered. Okay, a pylon does go up to repower that gateway, but oh my god, like warp gate isn't even done.
Yeah, do some body blocking with the probes, but they sort of get thinned out. Zest's not that far behind the worker count, but mate.
Hey, this one Void Ray is literally all he has. He's pulling all the boys. Everything's gonna go down, and Rogue is gonna pull off the reverse sweep here.
My jaw's wide open.
Oh my god, not like this. Zest, please. All the probes are gonna be going down here. There's nothing to stop them. Only the one lone Void Ray.
I like to think GG is called. What a way to end that series in a reverse sweep. Rogue is going to be taking that 3-2, taking his revenge on Zest from last week, and will be now up facing Stats in the grand finals. I gotta tell you something. I like to think that Stats was watching that series and thinking, all right, your application to becoming one of my agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's looking really nice. They saw that last game, and he just ripped that application apart.
You know what? It's like he has the application, he has the stamp ready. He just stamps it denied. He's like, nope. It's better luck next time, Zest. Oh my god, GG, well played. Rogue with the reverse sweep, but cheesing it up in the ace match, pulling a bit of a Maru there, kind of risking a lot. But Zest, he had no scouting information. He had no idea that it was coming. It just completely blindsided him, and oh boy.
I'm laughing still.
you know what?
Well played, Rogue.
I wouldn't be surprised if Zest was watching that match and he's just laughing. Sorry, Stats was watching that game, and he's just laughing to himself right now.
He's just like, oh, Zest, you dummy.
Mm.
And with that, we are going to be having another PvZ here. It is going to be Rogue versus Stats. And I mean, Rogue, he's already taken out Zest. See if we can take it to another one of these top Protoss players.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, Stats, he is a very different kind of Protoss player compared to Zest. Zest, we saw he went for a very similar opener, very similar build order every single game against Rogue. Stats, like, he isn't necessarily that kind of player. He's willing to go for like triple Oracle openers. He's willing to go into Glaive Adepts, Charge Lot Archon. Yeah, like he doesn't necessarily play like Zest.